Hello there, my name is Lillian Muli and you're in time for Fashion Watch. Thank you so much for continuing to talk to us on Twitter. Use the hashtag Fashion Watch or use the SMS number 22422. Tonight we're talking hair care and we've got a celebrity stylist in studio from the United States. Please send in your hair care questions to us using the hashtag Fashion Watch and we'll forward them to our Fashion Watch panel in studio every Saturday here on Citizen TV. Ian Mbogwa, celebrity judge from your favorite show, Tasker Project fame, and he's also a thespian. He'll be looking at this week's fashion trends. Also with us is celebrity fashion journalist Carol Odero. She'll be looking at this week's fashion trends as well. And of course with us every Saturday as well is Robert Burale. In red. Clearly, yes, he is an image consultant and a motivational speaker, and the very lovely Annabelle Onyango, celebrity fashion stylist, looking at this week's fashion trends as well. So let's take a look at what was happening, and we're starting with the Guinness Made of Black event. And let's take a look at who was there. There's a lot of people in that particular photo, but I want to talk about Adele Onyango, whose style seems to have changed in recent weeks, recent months. I'll talk about that little leather skirt, Annabelle, and the mustard colored blouse she has on, and the accessories and her weave. Just totally different look from what we know Adele as rocking. What do you think about this look?
Well, it's quite a coincidence that we're talking about Adele on a show where we're going to talk about hair, because Adele is really a hair chameleon. Like, one minute she's a naturalista, one minute her head is shaved, the next minute she has a weave down to her, you know, down her back. So I think Adele is one of those girls, luckily enough she has that head shape where she can do a lot with her hair. In terms of her outfit, I mean, I guess the memo was black. You know, everyone at this event is in black. It looks like a club, so I guess they're appropriately dressed. I mean, the backwards cap, to me, you know, it's not... To me, that's not really fashion anymore when you wear a backwards cap to an event. To me, it's kind of sloppy. It kind of shows that you didn't make an effort. I think if you're going to wear a backwards cap, then you need to do something else with your outfit to show us that it's a statement, as opposed to just showing up to an evening event in your regular street style.
Okay, let's move on and see what else was happening at that event and who was there. This is a different event, actually, and that's Octopizzo and Rabbit, yeah, and Calligraph, Kenyan celebrities or self-proclaimed, if you like. So, Carol, let's talk about this look. Let's start with Octopizzo, because we've talked about him previously on this show and what he has on.
Well, first, the shoes look quite familiar. I'm sure you've seen them here before. See, every time I look at the next generation of Kenyan hip-hop artists, I always think that they are quite relaxed about fashion. They don't understand the concept of expressing yourself in hip-hop through clothes. And I always feel like they fail to embrace that, and they don't understand the idea of, you know, I'm Kenyan, I'm African, I have this heritage, this is what I bring to the table, and I can have this look. So they always just copy-paste. You know, you put on the bling exactly the way they do, the Timberlands the way they do, the cap the way they do. I really feel like they should improve on it, and they should find their own voice, even if they're going to do hip-hop the American way.
Ian, these as performing artists and how they step out for you, I don't know if they were performing here or they were just hanging out, but does this look speak celebrity to you?
Not really. Not really. I really hope they weren't performing like that. I mean, it just looks like they've just put on clothes and just went to hang out in the park. That's what it looks like.
Robert, your thoughts?
I actually really hope they were performing, because when you're on stage, you're almost allowed to do anything. But if they came out like that, maybe for a function, I think it's sad. The guy in the middle is King Kaka.
Yeah.
Of the three, I would say he's the one who has tried. Octopizzo's top is what my grandmother would wear.
Okay. What do you think? The hashtag is Fashion Watch. Let's move this along and see who else was where. This is made in Kenya by Kenya. And we don't know if this is a couple or if they just spotted each other in blue and chose to take a photo together. But let's talk about this gown, Annabelle. Your thoughts on it. Very bold statement there. And for the girls who have a bigger bust, how do you rock a dress like this? How do you keep the baby's sitting properly?
Well, I would say if you have a bigger bust, you probably can't wear something with this low of a décolletage. This is for the more conservative boobs. Just like I'm kind of busting out of my top today, but yeah, I think when you're going to wear something this low, you do have to be careful that things don't fall out of place. There's always tape that you can wear to make sure nothing falls out.
What type of tape?
Double-sided tape, which you can get anywhere. But I'm a fan of couples coordinating on the red carpet. I think there's something considered about it. There's something romantic about it. I mean, here, of course, they're even wearing the same shade of blue, which I think is kind of sweet.
Robert?
Yes, I don't know. You said about the tape. I mean,
double-sided.
What is that?
It
to hold things together?
Glue on this side and the other. One sticks on the skin, the other one sticks on the dress.
So it holds everything together.
The fabric doesn't shift.
I'm a believer. Why do you have to add something? If you have to add something, then that dress is not meant for you.
Honey, you have to wear a bra. That's adding something.
But tape. Art and craft class, I don't know. Anyway, okay, that's fine. I mean, if you have to, Lillian, if you really have to add tape, then there's a problem.
No.
If it's just a bra, no.
Okay.
Anyway, let's go to the... I think they both look extremely smart. I just wish the gentleman would stand in a more confident pose. But the outfits, absolutely fantastic.
Carol, let's talk about the tape again, because I know girls out there who didn't know that this actually exists want to know more about what this tape is all about.
Well, the double-sided tape comes alongside all the underwear stuff. Those are the red carpet secrets, stuff that you wear that people don't really notice, but it makes your outfit stay like it's supposed to be like that naturally. So they wonder, how does it not fall over? That's what happens. And everything is not designed to look the same way. Everything doesn't come up to here so that it covers the bra. Sometimes you're adventurous and you wear things like this, and then you play around with it, or you construct the garment so that it's able to hold up the girls.
Okay. Fine, let's move on and take a look at what else was happening in Nairobi in the week that was. Same event. So, Ian, I'll have your say on the pink jacket and just what that gentleman has on before we talk about the lady.
That's very bold. Is that a blue shirt under?
Yeah.
I think so.
That is very, very bold. I think only Robert would wear something like that. Very bold. But the lady makes him look nice. Then the pink and then red shoes and the blue shirt, that's very bold.
Okay, Annabelle, I want to talk about you know, the crop top and the high-low skirt, and you know, just how this looks according to you. Should she have gone with a different skirt? Should the cropped top? I mean, I don't know, because sometimes you say less is more, and I don't know. What do you think about this look?
I mean, obviously she's a beautiful girl and she has a great physique. But I think when you're going to wear a crop top, the rule of thumb is that you are more demure on the bottom, and then if you're going to wear a high-low or a mini, the rule of thumb is that you're more covered up on top. It creates balance in a look. So when you have sort of too much skin exposed on top and on the bottom, it tends to look a little bit tacky.
Okay. The pink jacket, Robert, to you?
I think it's an absolutely fantastic jacket. I just wish she had gone for a darker color shirt and a darker colored trouser with different color shoe. And every man should now look at this man, and that is exactly how a man should pose for a photo. But if he had gone for a darker colored trouser, like a black trouser, it would even now amplify the beauty of the jacket. Yeah.
Carol, what are your thoughts on the high-low and the crop top? Do you agree with Annabelle's sentiments that, you know, you need to have that balance?
It depends on who you are and what you're known for and what you want to be known for, because everybody doesn't dress with exactly the same way for the same rules. Sometimes you can break them if you can afford to. So in this case, I think she can get away with it. I'm not sure who she is. I don't know who she is, so that might affect my decision. But if I just look at the picture and I look at her body and I look at her size, then it works for her. The guy with the jacket, I think it's a good idea to just talk to your designer or a tailor. Just the whole look does not work. I have no idea what everybody's on. Everybody's saying that it works. It does not.
Annabelle, how would you dress this guy? Like if he had to keep the jacket? Because it's a lovely pink. What would you do away with? I don't know.
I mean, I think like Robert had said, if you're going to wear a statement jacket, then everything else has to be neutralized so that your statement shows. And in this case, if he had worn all black underneath, then his jacket would have really popped and made that statement that he was clearly going for.
Okay, so you agree with Robert. Okay, great. The hashtag is Fashion Watch. Please continue talking to us. And let's take a look at what else was happening. Same event, and the bow tie and the Ankara jacket. Okay, so this clearly almost like, you know, a tuxedo look. I don't know. Carol, does this look work for you?
It does. I like the cut of the jacket. I like the fit. I like the V shape. He makes it work because he doesn't add a lot of detailing aside from the Ankara jacket. He kept it simple.
Robert?
Extremely good cut. The one thing that people need to realize is that bow ties are of different sizes. With his body size, I wish he had gotten a smaller size bow tie. Just a little bit smaller, then it not look like he's about to fly. But the jacket is very good, the right color trouser for the jacket. I just wish he would not pose holding his phone.
Annabelle, was this bow tie necessary? I mean, bearing in mind that he's wearing African print already, what do you think about this look?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there in insinuating that this look might have been taken a little further if he had removed the bow tie. I like this look because this gentleman obviously planned ahead for this outfit. This is obviously a jacket that he had made, customized. It's a kitenge tuxedo jacket, and I think he pulls it off really beautifully. If it was me, I would have styled it without the bow tie. You're right.
Ian, what are your thoughts? The bow tie, stay or not?
I'd lose the bow tie, but love the jacket.
Okay.
Love the jacket.
Okay. Use the hashtag Fashion Watch, please, to tell us what you think about this tuxedo look. This is Lupita Nyong'o in green peplum. And I want to get your thoughts on this. Carol, what do you know about this look? What do you know about this gown? And how do you think she looks in it?
I love this look on Lupita. I know you've always said that you should embrace outfits that show off her body. What this picture doesn't show is what the cut looks like at the back, which shows some skin, and it shows the curve, you know, the S-curve on her Luo body, which is very... I'm sorry, but I have to say this is made by Jason Wu, actually, who dressed Michelle Obama for the inaugural ball. So he's very much a designer who understands African women and how their bodies want to move in dresses. It's a look that I love on Lupita. I love the natural hair. Again, you know, I'm a big fan of natural hair on the red carpet. So for me, it's definitely a win.
Okay, and let's move on to the next image. And all right, okay, my director tells me that it's time now to introduce our guest analyst in studio this evening. Tonight we're talking hair care with celebrity stylist Felicia Leatherwood. She's worked with celebrities such as Will Smith, Jill Scott, Terrence Howard. You know, Terrence Howard is currently big in the country because of Empire. Everybody's watching Empire. And she's known for her expertise on natural hair and her ability to help even the most stubborn hair grow. Now, natural hair is the latest trend in Nairobi. Our resident panelists on Fashion Watch rock it, Annabelle and Carol. And tonight in studio... Ian Boga has an amazing fro here. He goes for the ragged look. Sorry, Ian. And of course, yeah, obviously Bob as well. So this is Felicia. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me
on the show. Like I said, Felicia, natural hair is the latest trend in Nairobi, and we want to know. I mean, before I invite the panel to talk to you about high-end and low-end products, because in the country currently. You know, one of the challenges that a lot of ladies and even gentlemen deal with is what products to use and how, you know, just the thin line between very expensive and cheap and how original and how genuine these products are.
Well, I must be honest with you. When I got here, I went around to about 4 different beauty supplies in town, and you guys are missing out on some really great things that we have in the U.S. But hopefully, now that I'm here and I know that, I can go back and tell them, because there's so many wonderful natural hair products. Back in the day, they gave us 3 products. They're like, you black, you all have the same hair texture, take this. But now we have over 1,000 different natural hair products. So you can choose, because what people don't understand is it's all about the texture of the hair, and that's what determines what the product's going to do.
And my final question, Felicia, before I invite the panel, how to love your hair, because a lot of myself included, a lot of Kenyan girls prefer to do the weaves because, you know, maybe they're struggling with a thin hairline, maybe they just don't like the body on their hair. So how to love your hair, how not to rock the weaves all the time, yeah.
Well, first of all, the best way to love your hair is to love yourself. And I think that women have struggled with self-esteem issues from a small child. And a lot of the women that come to my workshops, when I travel and I speak to them, they're young girls, and they're getting a lot of flack about going natural from their parents. Their parents are from the old school, and they believe if you have your hair straight, you'll be more accepted, you'll get married, you know, all these things, and they're just notions now. So I'm grateful that I'm able to showcase natural hair in a beautiful way on the red carpet. Being able to work with so many celebrities that have this wonderful natural hair that people love and look to, I can show them that it can look glamorous. It doesn't have to look dry or unkept or any of those myths that go on. You just need the right product. So mostly the love is going to start with you. And then secondly, you get a good support group of women who will show you what to do, how to do it, and they will always tell you how beautiful you look. And I think that'll push it along a lot better.
Question that just came in, sorry. Balding, this is from a gentleman. Is this reversible? A lot of guys are struggling with this. They don't like it. They just opt to shave it all off.
Well, that's interesting. Since I've been in Nairobi, I've had more men ask me how to grow their hair. I never get that question from men. They just don't care. They're like, okay, I'll just cut it, I'll wear a hat, that's it. But really, for men, when you lose your hair, it's called alopecia. Alopecia is a very difficult process to bring back. With women, we've kind of treated our hair so bad in certain circumstances that we create the alopecia. So some of us can bring our hair back with products. There are things that you can try. There's garlic oil, if you don't mind smelling like garlic. And then there's some great products. There's Growth Renew that you have here at the Beauty Supply. And mostly, whatever you start doing, you have to do it for about a year before you really notice the difference.
Okay, Annabelle.
Well, I have natural hair, obviously, and it's only half natural because obviously I'm blonde, which is not my natural hair color. And there are a lot of naturalistas out there who, you know, want to do something different and they color their hair. Now, my question to you is, are there any home remedies or anything that you can get from your pantry or your fridge that can really moisturize or maintain your hair without having to go out and buy expensive products?
Definitely. You have things like aloe vera juice, you have glycerin, you have eggs and mayonnaise and honey to condition your hair. Basically, hair products started at home. They started at home at first. Madam C.J. Walker, back in the day, she created relaxers that didn't have caustic ingredients. They were natural, and they were made by foods and fruits. So it was only meant to break down the curl just a little bit, or the kink a little bit. It wasn't meant to make it bone straight. So there's a lot of natural things that you can find at home. Baking soda the girls are using now to condition their hair and make it softer, and bentonite clay. And these are all natural things that come from the earth.
Okay, Ian.
Well, really, he was balding and now he's got hair. What did he do?
He probably did grafting. A lot of people now, which is very popular in the States, is to take hair from an area you have it and start to graft it around and fill it in, and over time it'll actually look very natural.
Black as well?
Yes. Big. It's a big, 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 big thing now. And black folks are doing it.
Okay, there's one who's always in a hat. There's a musician who's always in a hat because he's balding. Why can't he do that?
He probably is just going to accept the balding process.
Carol.
Well, I'm curious. Mine is more political, actually. The natural hair community is supposed to be a sisterhood, and it's supposed to support one another. But I have noticed, especially on social networks, that there is a lot of natural hair doesn't work if it's not natural, if it's colored. You can't wear weaves if you have natural hair. You can't do this. You have to wear Ankara. You have to change your lifestyle. We don't accept you because you look like this. If you're relaxed, you're not one of us. And there's so much exclusion as opposed to inclusion. So for me, I'm just thinking, if we want to look like queens and act like queens, why are we not treating other people like royalty? So how do we accept other people's textured hair and their textured spirits?
So we call those girls in the States natural hair Nazis. We do. I know it's terrible. But those are the ones who are very obsessive. What happens when you have people like that is that they're dealing with their own process of self-hatred. And they think by wearing natural or going natural, it's going to make them all of a sudden accept who they are. But if they can't accept what you do, they definitely aren't accepting everything that they're doing. And let me just correct this whole thing, because we all have color up here, okay? That doesn't mean you're not natural. Natural means what the kink in the coil is that comes up from your scalp, from your root, that you are showcasing, that you are allowing to be free and be itself. So the women feel like they have freedom with natural hair. Of course, you got to get a hold of it, because if you don't understand natural hair, you don't feel free. You feel like there's a struggle, and it's not supposed to feel like that. In terms of the sisterhood, I think that what's going to happen, like you have everything, you have groups of people who support each other, they come together, and then you have those who oppose things, and they stay with their groups, and they will always be behind the computer talking smack about those of us who are doing our things. So I always tell the women, rock yourself. Do you. Wear the makeup, the fashion, that natural hair will come together.
And Robert, very quickly, please.
Right, what do you advise? I've seen many ladies in Nairobi who have short hair. They apply some gel that when the sun gets hot, it actually it looks very bad, like a dried tomato, and you can actually just pull it off like that. What would you advise them to use? Because there's a desperation in some people. Well,
the thing about gel is it's not for everyone. I cannot wear gel. If I wear gel, I'll look like I have a helmet on. Definitely. The best thing is that they have products, okay? So first of all, let's talk about the kink a little bit. There are so many different textures of hair. There's 4 types. There's straight, wavy, curly, and kinky. I'm known as kinky. It's texture 4. Kinky hair doesn't usually fool with gel. You're not supposed to. You need butters and creams. That way when the sun hits it, it melts and make it glisten. So they got to stay away from that, because alcohol is not everyone's friend like that. If you have straight hair, wavy hair, maybe a little loose curl, you can do a little alcoholic product, you know, a little gel. But those of us with the kink, stay away from that gel. Get you a butter or cream.
And before we take your tweets, Felicia, the little ones, you know, parents asking how early, I mean, for those who think that their kids have nappy hair and want to relax it, how healthy is this? How young, I mean, at what age, ideally, should you relax your child's hair, if at all?
Well, of course I'm going to say don't do it, because what they've done in the States is they've uncovered that relaxer has ingredients that they have found when they test it on rats and things like that to make them have infertility, so they can't have babies. And women are going through that. They've found out that they are causing cancers and tumors and fibroids in the body, and that is what really kicked off the natural hair movement, is because women were sick and they were trying to trace it back, and the only thing they could really understand was it was the chemicals from a young age that started. A lady told me her mother put a relaxer on her at 8 months old. That's way too young. So if someone wants to relax the hair, I would suggest that really you should just press it. Start at 12 years old, but mostly empower the young ones to learn how to do their own hair. And that's the bigger deal.
Well said. Thanks for that. Let's take a look at your tweets. Let's see what you're sending in. Use the hashtag FashionWatch. Okay. And this is Dixon saying Octopizzo killed it. That look is what's trending. Harrison, the couple looks great. The guy's shoes are awesome. Okay. Leah, the guy in the Ankara tuxedo looks fine. It goes well with the bow tie. Well done. And Tim James, why not promote your country and be proud by putting on safari boots made in Kenya instead of Timberlands and weird shoes? Okay, thanks for that, Tim James. And final question, what we eat and how it affects our hair.
Oh, it's a big deal, because the hair is made up of protein. It needs protein. So, of course, when you eat well, then you have a better situation with your skin and your hair. What I notice, and I will just say this, is that women who come to me and they have scalp conditions like dandruff and eczema, they consume a lot of sugar. And sugar is a form of, it creates candida in the body, which is a form of yeast, and I can see it come out on the scalp. And when I have a conversation with them, I often find that they are consuming sugar and not enough water. We need more water, and especially around the holidays, because black folks like to put sugar in everything. So watch the sugar.
Okay, fine. And finally, what are you here for? Please, very quickly, as we wind up the show, tell us, how can people reach you, people that want to talk to you?
Well, just so I can tell you, first of all, Ayanna James is amazing. She brought me here to do the Curl Talk and the Naturals in Nairobi. And so the workshop, we had day 1 was finished today, excellent workshop. And then day 2 is tomorrow, and it's at Dusit. And it starts at 1 o'clock. Get there early because it gets packed. And I'm here to educate and to inspire and empower the women to love their natural hair.
All right, thank you very much, Felicia Leatherwood, celebrity stylist, talking to us on embracing our natural hair. And what an amazing conversation. Please keep sending in your tweets. That's all the time we had. We'll see you again next week. Good night.